Alright, so it is, I don't even know, it is December 15th. I'm heading out to the tree, like right now. I just got off of work, got dressed, I'm going to shoot out to the tree. You guys saw me last night. I sat last night, didn't see a deer. Like you saw, I got busted by does. Every doe that came out downwind of me, blew at me and took off. Tonight I got a similar wind. It's actually a different wind, but it is blowing right into where those does came from last night through the woods. So I'm really not sure what to think at this point. As far as the bait goes, if they come to the bait, I'll be solid. But if the wind's blowing hard enough, it might blow my scent right back into the woods where those does came out again last night. So basically tonight's kind of an experiment. If the does do the same thing again tonight, they come through that woods, smell me, and bust me back behind me in the woods, and I don't see anything, then I'm probably going to tear down tonight, take my sticks and platform down. I'm going to sit that same spot again tonight because I left my sticks and platform set up, just hoping that the wind tonight will help me. So basically, if they bust me again tonight, I will probably do a hang and hunt somewhere else tomorrow or Thursday. And at this point, I'm really not sure where. I really don't. I haven't done any scouting. I've been super busy. You know, I've only had enough time to run out and just sit a couple times close to home here. So, anyways, we'll see what happens tonight. I figured I'd do my interview right now while I'm getting ready. And I'm going to skip it when I get up in the tree. So I'll just see you when we get out to the tree. I'm going to get all my stuff together here and run out to camp as fast as I can. And try to sneak up and get into the tree as quietly as possible tonight, as fast as possible, so I can allow things to settle down closer to the 4:45, 5 o'clock time. Like the does came out last night. That was about the time that they started to bust me. So yeah, hopefully they sounded like some decent deer last night. They sounded like older does, if they were does. So I'm looking for a mature doe to harvest and basically fill one of my buck tags. I have not seen a legal buck in weeks, so at this point I'm kind of giving up on buck hunting, not interested in shooting a buck. I mean, I will if I see one, but I'm going to take the first nice mature doe that comes out. I'm not going to wait for a buck. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm going to fill one buck tag with a doe, which you can do this year in Michigan with a bow. So I'm going to fill one buck tag with a bow with a doe, and then I'll save my other buck tag for the rest of the season to either wait out for a buck, or what I'll probably end up doing is just maybe getting out one more time before New Year's when season ends and try to shoot another doe. So anyways, my goal tonight is to just get a mature doe down. We got some friends that are really wanting some venison, and they're counting on me to get a deer for them. So I'm really hoping that I can get one down for them tonight. So just hope for the best, and I'm going to get out of here, and we'll see you in the tree. Catch you later. Alright, we got her. It looked like a good shot, but I don't know. She really took off flying. I don't know, I think I hit her a little bit back, but man, I don't know. I hope I didn't hit her a little bit too far back, but she took off into the trees and I never saw her cross the road into the woods, so I think she's still out in the trees right there, but I'm just gonna sit tight and just keep watching and give her some time, but hopefully I hit her good. And I never saw her cross the road back into the woods, so I know she's still out in the trees, which is good. So I'm gonna look back on the footage and see what happens, and we'll just go from there, so stay tuned. Okay, so we just got back out here. It's been a little over 2.5 hours since I shot her, and we're gonna pick up first blood. I got down from the stand right at dark, got down and looked at impact, didn't see any blood. Walked about 10 yards and found some blood on the ground. It was well, not a ton, but it was definitely consistent, and so I just marked the spot and backed out. And now my brother Blake and I are back a little over 2.5 hours later, and we're gonna start picking up the trail and go after her. So looking at the footage, it looks like I definitely hit her back. Hoping that it's back double lung, but if not, it's probably a single lung liver. So she's definitely gonna die. It's just whether or not she's expired already by now or not. So if the blood looks good, we'll probably keep going. Otherwise, if it gets sparse, we might have to just back out and come back tomorrow or something. So we will take up the blood trial now and just go from there and see what happens. There is blood. Up high. Yeah. Okay. You can see where she stood right here, but blood is hard to tell if it's nice bright lung blood or it's really hard to tell. I'm having a hard time distinguishing how dark it really is or not, but she stood here for quite a while and bled, so that's good. We should keep bleeding. Okay, so talk about a roller coaster. We followed good blood to a spot, and it literally, the blood was just coming real good, and it literally stopped. I mean, 100% stopped. And we sat, and I don't know how long we spent, at least half an hour, 45 minutes. And finally I realized that the blood was starting to get really wide right there. And we started getting the idea that maybe she doubled back, and it turns out my brother ended up on a blood trail that we didn't follow coming to where we stopped. And we found out that sure enough, she stopped, made a complete 180, and then doubled back on her track. Fortunately, my brother got on her other blood trail, and now we went from getting no blood to really, really good blood. So hopefully this is a good sign, and we'll be able to track her and keep going here. So unfortunately, we went 15 yards from the last interview that I just said where we got back on good blood, and we came up right here to a good bed full of blood. And just as we hit this bed, unfortunately, we jumped her, and she was probably only maybe 30 yards or so up ahead of us, straight up into those trees there. And we heard her take off, and it didn't sound like she went very far before we didn't hear her anymore. So hoping that she stopped on the edge of the woods. I'm hoping that maybe those coyotes earlier is keeping her from going into the woods. But at this point, we're going to have to mark this spot back out of here and give her more time, unfortunately. So, definitely not something that you want to hear. Well, as you can see, I'm back at home without a deer. So, we jumped her up probably 25 yards in front of us. And we heard her make about 3 or 4 bounds. And then she stopped again, and we just stood there in the dark for probably 5 minutes, just kind of discussing what we were gonna do. And Blake went and quietly snuck over one row and flipped his flashlight on, and we could see her. She was probably 50 or 60 yards out in front of us, bedded down at that point. So. The fact that we jumped her up and she only went about 40 yards probably and bedded back down again makes me believe that she's hurting, and she's probably on her last leg at this point. So I came back home. It's 10 o'clock now. I'm gonna take a 2-hour nap, get up at midnight. Blake's gonna come over and meet me again, and we're gonna run back out there, and I'm sure with another 2 hours she should expire by then. So it's not the way that you want things to go, but it's part of hunting, and just hope that that she expires here pretty quick, and when we find her, she'll be gone. So see you in 2 hours after a nap. Okay, it is about 12:30 in the morning, and I came back out here to try and get my doe here. I didn't want to leave her overnight because I know the coyotes aren't very far, so I'm going to get back on blood here. Okay, there she is right there. All I have to do. Well, here she is. Here she is. We found her. Just like I expected. After we jumped her earlier, she bedded right back down after about 40 yards. And we knew she wasn't going to go far. And so I went back home. That was at about 9 o'clock. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning now. We gave her some time. And I came back. And picked up the blood trail, came to where we saw her last, and she had made 3 beds right there where we saw her last. And she was down and she wasn't going anywhere, but she was still breathing. So I took my bow and I put one more arrow into her to finish her off real quick, and that was it for her. So it's been a really long and tough season for me, but I'm just happy to get one on the ground, fill a tag, and be able to put one down for the bow. Surprisingly, it took me 2.5 months to finally put down a deer with my bow. It's been a rough season this year. I haven't been able to get on a single buck this year, and just happy to put this doe down. Fortunately, this year in Michigan, you can use your buck tag to harvest a doe during archery season. So I had 2 buck tags, so tonight I'm able to use this, tag this doe with one of my buck tags. So it leaves me with 1 more buck tag for the rest of the season, and just happy to put her down. Super pumped also that it's my first deer out of the saddle, which is pretty cool. I literally did a hang and hunt with my saddle every single hunt this year, and I don't know how many hunts I did, but the saddle is so easy to just set up in. Super comfortable, super nice to film out of. I just love it, and anybody who's interested in saddle hunting, I'd encourage you to look into it and take a look at it. It's pretty neat. So, but yeah, pretty pumped.